Hi, everyone. Welcome into practice, everyone. Happy Thursday if you're watching live. If you're not, would love to know in the comments what day are you watching and where are you watching from. So it is Thursday here for the live session, which means we are almost to the end of the week. The work week, I suppose, for those of us who have a Monday through Friday job. So I'm curious, how's your week been going? How are you doing? How are you feeling as you come into practice, right? What is that sensation? Are you feeling relieved? Are you feeling like, oh, finally a chance just to sit down, do something for myself? Maybe you're like, I don't really want to be here, but I know this is good for me, so I'm going to do it. Maybe you just have it on in the background as something to sort of listen to. Um, there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong answer. Whatever brings you here, whatever state brings you here, whatever feeling brings you here, I'm just glad that you're here and that you're showing up for you. So, as we dig into practice tonight, I want to do some grounding. So, grounding, the type of grounding we're going to do is a mindfulness-based grounding. I'm curious who has ever heard of grounding, what comes up when you think about grounding. Maybe this is totally new for you, so I'd love to hear if you've ever practiced grounding before. Grounding, there are many different kinds, right? And as I said, we're going to practice mindfulness-based grounding tonight. Why are we doing that? Because sometimes we can live in our heads, right? Often, I think, we live in our heads. And sometimes we can live so much in our heads. And what does that mean? If we're living in our heads, we're living in the past, we're living in the future, we're living in a fantasy, we're living in somewhere, anywhere that's not right here and right now, right? And sometimes being up in the clouds, as they say, can feel creative and dreamy and expansive, right? And it can just be very, uplifting and freeing. And then sometimes with our heads sort of up in the clouds or away from our bodies and away from our present moment, it can feel stressful and overwhelming. Even when it starts out as something dreamy or exciting, right? It can become overwhelming if we don't bring ourselves back to the present moment. It can lead to living in the past, living in the future, right? It can lead to anxiety or even feelings of depression if we don't remember to come back to the present moment. And that's what grounding is. Especially mindful grounding. Mindful grounding brings us right back to this moment. We ground into the present moment. Some people might think of grounding as physically grounding, putting your feet out on the earth. That's a great practice, by the way. I highly encourage it. There's more and more research showing that physical contact with the earth is actually a very healing thing for the body. I'm starting to read more about electron transfer and things like that. It's all new for me. If you know more about it than I do, I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear in the comments, send me a mail, whatever it is. But it's very exciting, and it's nice to see science starting to take its inquiry to this place where others have experiences. And now science is saying, can we see? What can we see? What can we know? Let's take a look. Let's investigate. And that's what science is, right? Science is trying to understand what we don't understand, right? That's what it is. Anyway, I digress. So there's all kinds of grounding. You can go out and sit on the earth and physically ground. You might think of maybe in other ways being in touch with the earth or some other object to help you ground into this space, whatever it is. we are going to practice just coming back to ourselves tonight. And we're going to do that mindfully. You guys, if you've been with the channel for a while, we do a lot of mindfulness where we utilize the breath and the body. We're going to do that here tonight as well. But we're going to bring in all of our senses to help us ground into our lived experience right now. Right now. So, as we settle in, I think, right, I've been a huge proponent recently of the practices being in a mode where you're just getting as comfortable as possible. And I love that. And we'll be doing more of that. I think tonight, the grounding practice, I would say you could lay down because some people really do get that comfort and that experience a lot more from the physical contact of the ground. You can really attend to that tactile sensation to bring you back to the now. Or sit. I'm gonna stay sitting as I usually do, but if I was doing this practice alone, I think I would also choose to sit upright because I think this posture, and even laying down you can do this, but we're bringing an intentionality, right? We're going to bring that intentionality of coming back, right? So as opposed to just getting comfortable and maybe allowing ourselves to drift, this practice is about bringing us back in, back down to earth. So with that, I invite you, if you're willing and able, to find a comfortable upright seated position. If you can, I would put both feet flat on the floor for this one. I think that's really great. If you really prefer to sit on the ground cross-legged, please feel free to do so. And again, if you want to lay out, you may do that as well. Obviously, this is your practice. Do what feels best and right for you. I will just make some offerings and some suggestions along the way. But the goal, right, what I will encourage us all to do, regardless of posture, is bring that intention of slowing down and coming back to the present moment. We're leaving everything we've done earlier today behind. And we're going to let go of everything we can conceive of in the future. If there's something up here in dreamland, I know this is true for me. I've got a lot of dreamland going on for myself. So if that's true for you, we're going to leave that all, release that all, and come back to this moment. So settle in, grab a drink of water, settle into your posture, roll out your shoulders a little bit here. Maybe even stretching a little bit as you get seated. Realizing maybe you've been hunched over all day and you got to stretch out those muscles for a second. Maybe take up a little space. Maybe you've been feeling kind of small, right? And already we're bringing in that awareness and mindfulness. How does our body feel and what is it asking from us in this moment? Just take the movements you need to take. Maybe a yawn, releasing some tension. Maybe some neck rolls. Maybe some rolling out of the ankles. Maybe tapping your feet on the ground or your toes on the ground. Maybe rolling out the wrists. And more and more, every movement, we're becoming more in touch with and more aware of our bodies, more aware of our bodies in space, in this moment right now. Settling in, becoming still, taking some breaths. I invite you now to release the tension from your forehead, around your eyes. Relax your jaw and unstick your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, release your shoulders. Just taking a few breaths. More and more embodied and more aware of your in-breath and your out-breath. Inviting a gentle awareness that doesn't need or want even to change anything. Just observing, just becoming aware of what is. Some gentle breaths. And even now, acknowledging the thoughts that may arise. Thanking them for joining, and gently release them, coming back to your breath. Becoming aware now of your feet, potentially flat on the ground, but in whatever configuration they are. Just becoming aware of the sensations, aware of the temperature, aware of the thoughts that accompany your attention as you attend to your feet. Taking a deep breath in and releasing the awareness of your feet, becoming aware now of any surface below you, perhaps still again beneath your feet, underneath your sits bones, along the length of your spine. Exploring with your direct experience the surface beneath you. Weaving in a moment of gratitude to be thankful for that which supports us. And in this moment, grateful for the surface below that supports us, that holds us up against gravity. Becoming more and more embodied and more aware right here, right now. Bring your awareness to other tactile sensations in and around you. Your clothes against your skin. Perhaps your hair against your skin. What are your hands doing? Are they touching each other? Are they touching something else? Where are they resting? If your hands are perhaps resting gently in your lap or over your belly, perhaps another part of your body, I invite you to take the perspective. What do your hands feel like resting on that part of your body? And then what does your body feel like having your hands rest there? Do you feel their weight? Is one a different temperature than the other? Do you notice the absence of any sensation that you assumed was there? Becoming more and more embodied and present, aware of all of the tactile sensations, everything you can feel. Gently and without judgment, as we continue to explore our current lived experience, we become aware of everything we can hear. Gently and without judgment, we simply notice the sounds. We notice the sounds as part of our lived experience. You may experience a feeling or a sensation. You might experience a thought or a judgment against or for the sounds. They shouldn't be here. I'm trying to meditate. I really like that sound. It's so soothing. And again, just acknowledging our experience, our lived experience. Our thoughts are part of our lived experience. Acknowledge them. And then gently just coming back to the experience of hearing. Do you experience any of the sound as a combination of hearing and tactile sensation by way of vibrations? Becoming more and more embodied, becoming aware now of everything you can smell or taste. Perhaps you've not been smelling or tasting anything, and as you draw your awareness to those areas and to those senses, you realize that there's something here to experience after all. Becoming more and more embodied, more and more present, and more grounded, even if your eyes may be closed. I invite you to attend to your sense of sight. What do you perceive, even with your eyes closed? If there's lighting in the room, do you notice shadows at play? Do you see colors or is it dark? There is no right or wrong answer. This is just your direct experience of living. Becoming more and more embodied and more present and more grounded, I invite you to take a few breaths with me here. Breathing in through the nose deeply and out with a sigh. Breathing in through the nose deeply and out with a sigh. Breathing in through the nose deeply and out with a sigh. As we enter the next phase of practice, I invite you now to embody your lived experience through all of your senses, all of the senses we just explored, your tactile sensation, those things you can feel, those things you can taste or hear or smell or even see. And I invite you into an open practice of awareness, simply labeling to yourself or aloud, whatever you find most useful, every awareness that arises through your senses. That might look something like this: feet touching the carpet, breath in the back of my throat, shoulders tense and now relaxed, darkness behind my eyes, hands warm and touching, feet flat on the ground, knees bent. So you can see a stream of awarenesses bringing you right into this moment, labeling every experience that comes to your awareness. I invite you into a moment of silence as you take that practice for yourself. Go at your own pace here. It doesn't need to be fast or slow. Continuing to practice the labels, becoming aware of any judgments. You may wish to layer those on to your direct experience, and I invite you to simply become aware of when that might happen and see if you can just remain neutral with the labels, labeling your experience only as the facts that they are. This might look like shifting from labeling something as a bad smell to labeling something as simply a smell. Here for a few more moments. Becoming aware as we continue to practice any judgments that might arise. I've done this long enough. Can't we move on? I'm not good at this. I'm not fast enough. I don't see the benefit of this. I love this. This is my favorite practice I've ever done. I hope that's true. And simply becoming aware of those as a layered judgment and allowing them to go, coming back to a neutral labeling of your direct experience through your senses. Coming now to our breath. Gently bring your awareness to your breath, breathing in and out. This practice of labeling our direct experience, becoming aware of every sensation, every experience as it happens in the present moment, is something you can do anytime for any length of time. Perhaps during your day, you simply take a pause to name one thing you're experiencing right now, coming back to the present moment, relieving the stress or tension, anxiety, overwhelm, or simple daydreaming of being in the past or the future or somewhere else entirely. Coming back and breathing. Let's take a few breaths together here. Deep breathing in and out. Letting go. Breathing in and out. Letting go. Breathing in and out. Letting go. And we'll end practice with some gratitude. In this present moment, repeat after me. I am grateful for this moment. I am grateful for this breath. I am grateful I showed up to practice tonight. And when you're ready, wiggling your fingers and your toes and taking the small movements and the stretches as we settled into practice, so too we come out of practice, bringing a smile to our face, opening your eyes when you're ready, and coming back into the room where we started. How was that? What do we think? Hey, Leanne. Oh, I'm so glad that you are here tonight. I'm so glad. Oh, amazing. Yes. Oh, you guys might know by now, I've said it many times in the channel before, that often these practices are a mix. These practices are a mix of me pouring my heart into what I feel could be helpful and useful for all of us on a healing journey. And sometimes they're just what I need in the moment. And if I need it, I know that others can resonate with it as well. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you would like to see. I love designing practices around and for whatever needs or interests you might have. So do let me know. Let me know here in the comments. Let me know here in the chat if you're here with me live. Let me know through an email if you go to empoweredhealingpractices.com and sign up for my mailing list. Let me know on the Facebook group at Empowered Healing Practices Community if you find us on Facebook or everywhere. And we would love for you to be part of that community if you are not already. So thank you all so much for showing up tonight or today, whenever you're listening. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you feel a little bit more centered, a little more grounded, maybe even a little more peaceful. Is something I often get with grounding practices. So, and of course, the recording will be here for you anytime that you need it. So, I am sending so much love, so much light, and I cannot wait to see you here next week. Yay. I'm reading the comments now. I'm in a new setup. So thanks, Leanne. I'm so glad that you're feeling so much more peaceful and connected. Thanks, everyone. Good night.